He got to? My invitation said 8 o'clock.
It's now almost 9.
At last.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late.
Now that you've arrived, Mr. Eulerdrack, perhaps you'd explain why you've asked us here.
I'm sorry.
You are, Mr. Eulerdrack, the man who sent a letter to all of us asking to appear in this eerie, deserted house at dead of night, little knowing the horrors that lay in store for us.
No, my name is Jobs. I, too, received an invitation from Mr. Eulerdrack.
Well, who is this Mr. Eulerdrack?
That's just it. None of us has ever... Wait a minute. Eulerdrack.
What is it?
There's something about that name that... If only we had a blackboard.
I have a small freestanding easel-type one here. Would that do?
Excellent. Has anybody got a piece of chalk?
Oh, yes. Here's a stick.
Oh, there's a bit of luck.
Thank you. Now, if we take a closer look at the name of our mystery host, Eulerdrack, well, does anyone notice anything so far?
No.
No?
No. No.
Well, if we move one or two of the letters like this, then we get...
Good Lord.
Count Adracule.
Exactly. Oh,
Who the hell's Count Adracule?
no. That's a point.
No, we don't move enough letters. If we move that and that, it's not Count Adracule at all, but Count Raculad.
Count Raculad!
Oh. Surely it's Count Eulerdrack.
No, it must be Lacura.
Good evening. And what can I do for you?
You must be...
Albert Steinkenfreund. The question is, what are you all doing in my house?
But you sent for us.
I most certainly did not.
Just as I thought. This is all starting to grow strangely disturbing.
How do you mean?
It's all rather like an experience I had once. I was much older at the time, of course, in service to a well-known member of the gentry. What happened was a piece of music started to come in, and suddenly my whole face began to go.
I should never have moved out of my old series. I was quite happy there.
But Aude, you had to move out. You buried everyone else in it.
It's just that this new producer is such a Philistine. I mean, look at the way I'm crossing back to the window now for no apparent reason. And any second now, I expect I'll quite arbitrarily, yes, here I go, walk back to the sofa and pick up a copy of Country Life and flick through it. I mean, look at me. I never even read it.
Some more awards for you, madam.
Oh, thank you, bad actor. Just put them in the cupboard with the others.
Yes, madam.
I say, Aude.
Yes, I know, and I do wish you'd stop it.
But Aude, it's Mr. De Victim, the new producer. He'll be here any minute now.
Oh, there you are. And what tedious gobbet of plot have you got for me this time?
Well, this week I've got a classic. What happens is, you get up and walk to the window, then Marjorie sits and flicks through Country Life, then she gets up and walks to the window, and here's the twist. You both flick through Country Life standing by the window.
My dear man, you simply have no idea, have you? There are certain traditions in my performance, Mr. De Victim, and it's time you started observing them. Don't interrupt. Traditions like my taking enormous breaths before each sentence, like speaking in such a shrill, high-pitched voice I get obscene phone calls from Battersea Dogs Home. Like trotting out endless middle-class niceties about which shape of room hock should be served in, which knife to use for pâté, which fork to use for spreading manure, and which silver spoon to put in a baby's mouth and which public school to put one's horses down for. And no matter how idle and stuck up I become, the public still go on adoring me. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Majesty. Yes.
The people kept applauding and laughing. In the end, her voice drove me so insane, they made me controller of BBC television.
Do you know, all this seems strangely familiar. It's like, what's the name for that feeling you have that the same thing is happening over and over again?
Terry Scott and June Whitfield.
Do you know, all this seems strangely familiar. It's like, what's the name for that feeling you get that the same thing keeps happening over and over again?
Déjà vu?
Yes, that's right. Terry Scott and June Whitfield.
I know exactly what you mean. This may sound trivial, but I too had a rather disturbing dream some time ago. I was appearing as the host of this strange program on BBC Two.
Hello, and welcome to the Master Game, introduced by not me at all.
Good evening. Tonight, how to mate a king with a bishop. Tomorrow, the world. But first we feature that revered grand old master Hugo Spaskovich from Warsaw Pektia, who tonight will take on 9 opponents all at the same time. Your commentator is Mike Too Close to the...
Well, here at the Wembley Conference Centre, you could cut the atmosphere with a tape editing machine. The crowd absolutely mesmerised here as Spaskovich pits his wits against 9 other top-class competitors. Well, I think that puts Bagnall in a tricky position here now. Oh dear, he's decided to fall over. He's gone for the collapse flat on your face gambit, and that may have cost him the match. So, Spaskovich moves on now to Leon Spinks, the former world lightweight brain champion. And let's just have a look at his possible lines of attack here. The most obviously precipitate strategy is a fist to Spinks' tooth 2, threatening the opponent's jawbone and forcing his nose and brain's eye socket 1 to move further up his face. An alternative, and some would say more elegant tactic, would be to take one of Spinks's ears, leaving his brain vulnerable and wide open to attack the next time. Yes, I think he's opting for the latter. What course is left to Spink now?
Well, the loss of the ear there was quite a blow. I wasn't expecting that. Such a problem. The clear classical textbook attack here is, of course, boot to Gulis 2. I think I play safe on this one. I shall advertise a men's deodorant.
And after that, I can't remember anything. It all seemed to go hazy.
Just a minute.
What?
That wasn't your dream. It was mine. You weren't even in it.
Oh, I do beg your pardon.
All of this is very intriguing. Already 2 of us have something in common. An uncanny experience which cannot be explained by rational means.
Oh, Steve! I'm frightened. Hold me, Steve. I'm scared.
Sorry, must be some mistake here. My name's not Steve.
What do you mean?
Well, actually, it's Evelyn.
Evelyn? Well, which one of you is the butch young hero named Steve, then? There's always one. Oh, Steve, hold me. I'm scared.
No, I'm not Steve. I'm Hillary.
Hillary? Oh, Steve!
Sorry, my name's Edwina.
Edwina? Hillary, Evelyn, and Edwina? Oh, heavens.
Take no notice of them, child. Everything will be all right.
What do you mean?
Just call me Steve.
talking about that dream reminds me of a rather disturbing one I had myself only the other night. It all began with a strange song about medieval England.
In merry England's golden days, when verdant grew the land, there lived a knight of noble birth, with a coat of arms so grand. Two diamonds bright, a testimony to his fortune bore. A yellow streak between avert his cowardice in war. A question mark in azure showed a bastard true was he. A Galen priest in gold, but he could not a father be. A silver goblet mocked him as the biggest drunk for miles. The words pugno posterior, his fight to conquer pile.
Now hold it.
Leather stocking black and sleek.
Oh, hold it there.
And thongs so fierce.
Oh, stop it, please.
Denoted how he loved to...
Stop! Oh, look out! He's coming. Let's hope he's not in another of his bad moods.
And tell him I want a bigger mirror in my dressing room. No, I can't get a smaller face. For goodness sake. Oh, what a day. Any messages for me?
Oh, just from your wife, Al. She says she can't find the key to her chastity belt.
Typical. Has she tried the blacksmith?
She says she can't until she finds the key to her chastity belt.
Oh, yeah, never mind all that. Look, I've got a very busy day. I've got to be up at Backley by 6 to do the warm-up for the Black Death. Now, look, I promised the King that I'd have a word with my scriptwriters about tomorrow's banquet before I went. So, how's it all going?
Well, we've each done our own gags to the opening spot, Al. They're all here on these boards.
Right, well, who's going to be king?
Oh, well, I'll be king.
Right, and you can be queen, all right. The number 2, I think, for openers. Thank you. Right, a general medieval atmosphere, factoring gnawing chicken bones and puffs podsing about with lutes. Right, off we go.
In sooth, perceive I now the court so merry. Behold how they surfeit of the ale and gorge their bellies on the hog's meat.
Beteem it so, for e'en may a hog that's broached to a costard serve as mutton to such a saucy jackanapes. I like that, it's very nice. And number 4, I think, now. There we are. Right, on we go.
Get soft, my husband. Methinks that Gloucester hath a weary eye for our daughter.
He that hath a wary eye, let him firk his giglot, ere it cozen him cuckold to another's casket. To another's casket. Excellent, excellent. Oh, that number 8 woofer, I think, that.
Please it so, Madonna. Her heart is betrothed to Buckingham.
And so on seminar the Rudesby play coxcomb to a sprightly codling, yearly may it hox him for his usances. Oh, wait, no, we can't use that one.
Really?
Oh, no, we never get away with that. Look, I'll tell you what, I'll use it at the Stag Night next week in the New Forest, all right? So, all number 9 belter, I think. Right, on.
Tarry, though, for but I observe that thy mother hath put on weight since last I met her.
Fat? I hear she has to have her knickers specially licensed to carry heavy goods. Which one of you wrote this bit?
I did, Al.
Oh, yes, Bill Shakespeare. Still haven't got the hang of writing comedy yet, have you?
But still undaunted, brave young Will went forth and persevered, determined he'd a playwright be, the best in all the land. He laboured hard and laboured long, his drama to perfect, and slow but sure his verse caught on, although it never rhymed. And as his fame spread wide, young Will was soon a household name. He wowed them with his concerts and a superstar became.
Dudley's here. This one on the blue, yeah, that's it. And in the middle. Oh, look, it's the same.
Mr. Shakespeare, it's nearly 15 years now since you last went on the road with your complete works. How do you think your fans will react to your new, heavier, more rock-oriented style?
Well, I think you have to progress in this business. You know what I mean? Hey, Johnny, how's the echo on this thing? For the bottleneck slide in the 14th side. Right. I mean, it's like, if you stand still, you're dead. You know what I mean? And I think my fans are worst.
Yes, I'm thinking now of your recent gig at the Globe, where you shot lasers out over the audience during the first act of Hamlet and ended the soliloquy by smashing the skull apart on stage.
Sorry?
You smashed up your skull.
No, it's tobacco, really. Okay, rehearse this thing now, right?
I see. And this number is what?
Richard III, Act 1, Scene 1.
Mr. Shakespeare, thank you very much.
Directed by Geoffrey Sax. I awoke in a cold sweat, I don't mind telling you.
I can do with a drink after that, I can tell you.
Then help yourself to the brandy.
You know, all this puts me in mind of a rather unnerving thing that happened when I was a floor manager on the Little and Large show. Eddie Large used to go into the dressing room after the show and find that Sid Little was somehow in a different spot to where he'd left him. It was almost as if he had a life of his own and had somehow moved across the room. Scared the wits out of us at the time, I can tell you.
Well, it seems that I'm the only one who hasn't experienced anything unusual at all. Although, come to think of it, there was a film I appeared in once. I'm an actress, which was rather disturbing in some ways. It all began as one of those big, epic productions, you know.
In the year of our overdraft 63, the guardians of the Roman Empire were steeling themselves for an uprising that could easily spell the end of Silvinius.
Senator Flavius Maximus.
Senator Lucius Domitus. I bring grave news from Caesar. Senator Domitus.
It is well that you have called here today, Maximus. The will of the Senate is that any threat to the security of the Empire or its dependent provinces shall be regarded as insurrection and dealt with accordingly. Is this not so, my love?
Indeed, my lord. It seems the captains of the royal household have this day received disturbing counsel from the soothsayers, and it is rumoured that the life of the emperor himself hangs upon these events. And you understand the full significance of why we must consider the information before the empress's agents discover its existence.
Then let us waste no more time. I have here the reports of the tribunes of the plebs, and it is my opinion that we would do well to heed their warnings. I, as you know, have served the Senate well over many years and have experience of these matters. There are those who will mock my judgments and throw scorn upon my pronouncements of this. I am well aware, simply because I am a dwarf. Yet I beg you to heed my words.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Why don't we all stand a bit closer together? It would solve a lot of problems.
Good idea. Now, tell us, Maximus, what news from Judea?
Well, it seems that lately a man has been seen leading crowds through the streets. People are saying he is an investment consultant. Not only that, he has been interesting the poor in gilt-edged unit trusts with convertible holding. And he has been visiting the lepers, giving them tips on income tax dodges. What? And there are those who say that he claims that heavy premium insurance policies are a sound investment for the future. This is heresy.
They must be stopped at once.
God! Go at once to Judea and instruct Herod.
Herod, yes?
That all city financiers under the age of 5 years are to be put to
Is that Herod the Great or Herod Antipas?
Herod Antipas are to be put to the sword.
Is that Herod Antipas of Beersheba or Herod Antipas of Tarsus?
Herod Antipas of Beersheba. They're to be put to the sword.
Is that Herod Antipas of Beersheba the large and wobbly or Herod Antipas of Beersheba the small and lumpy?
Well, I don't know. Lumpy, I suppose. Small and lumpy. I tell him...
Is that Herod Whoops, get herd, ducky, or Herod Donkey Short?
Look, I don't care. Just go to a Herod, any Herod at all. It doesn't matter which. And tell him that all city financiers under the age of 5 years are to be... Oh, beggar this. We'll just let him off.
So, all in all, I wasn't sorry when we'd finished shooting it.
These anecdotes are all very interesting, everyone. But it still doesn't solve the main riddle. Who invited us here? And for what purpose? What possible reason could there be for...
Oh, no!
He's dead.
Are you sure?
That's it, everybody. Don't you see? We've all been lured here to be murdered. That means the killer must be one of us in this room.
Miss Brandy, it smells of cyanide.
Smells of cyanide. That can only mean one thing. Someone has laced the decanter with bitter almonds. We don't stand a chance.
And we've all of us been drinking it. Every one of us except the killer has been poisoned. it at last?
Yes, it all worked a treat, Vera. Now, perhaps with them out of the way, we can get back into this series.